politician. It's good to see you again. It's been so long since you've been here. You had me thinking you were dead.
Morning, it's Monday, the 18th of September 2023. Beatrice Adamoizi remains my name, and in case you're just tuning on, this is Unity 93.3 FM and it's Unity Trend. This is the second segment of the main Unity Trend segments, that we have, where we would just bring up a topic and then we discuss at length. And I have a guest in the studio. Before I even let him say good morning or to introduce him, I would love to apologize that we are just coming on air on TV at this segment. This is because, to my guest in the studio, it's not an excuse that it's raining and so we would not be on air. But of course, to us in this part of the world, somehow to some of us, it's still an excuse that it's raining. You don't go to office. Well, if you want to does who is not in the office because it's raining, I beg that my guest, whom I'm yet to introduce in this segment, will forgive you. He is not the one writing the sins of men, because he is also a human being. Okay, so thank you so much for being there with us on Unity 93.3 FM. Don't forget, we are reaching you live from the city of Jos. Don't forget, PLATEAU is the home of peace and tourism. So thank you so much. Thank you so much for being there. And so at this point, we would just love to go on straight with the first segment. The second segment. What we do, like I told you, we set a topic and then we discuss that line. I have in the studio this morning, my guest is Professor Paveno H. Bamayi, Dean, Faculty of Veterinary Medicine, University of Jos, a public and current affairs analyst. And the topic for discussion this morning is the challenges of national development, role of leaders and citizens. That's what we'll be discussing. But before we do that, let me say, Prof, good morning.
Good morning, Kulbi. Good morning, our listeners and viewers around the world. It's wonderful to be here this morning. We've started discussing earlier on, since about 8 o'clock this morning.
Yes.
I came to the studio before 8, like Kulbi was saying. Today I'm wearing my Malaysian attire.
Oh my.
The Malaysians taught me that rain must not stop you.
From what?
I was telling Kulbi earlier on that one time it rained for 10 days in Malaysia, non-stop. The rain was continuous. It was raining while we're sleeping, while we're waking up, we're going to the office to work inside the rain. People were going to school. People were going about their business, marketing and all that inside the rain. You need to have an umbrella. And today it's been raining cats and dogs in the city of Jos and maybe environs. But in some other parts of the world, it might not be raining at all. So please, we're happy that you're joining this broadcast. And we're going to have a fantastic time together this morning discussing issues that are important to all of us. So I want to appeal to you to listen and remain tuned to Unity FM, radio and TV.
Yes, remain tuned to Unity FM and, of course, radio and TV. Prof, we came up with this and we call it Over the Weekend. And the recent segment of Unity Trend, you touched very sensitive issues, but that was on the radio arm. On TV, I don't want us to miss it on TV. So if you could just, maybe in a minute or two, just run down some of the things we said while we were on the radio arm only and now on TV.
Yes.
Why don't you just touch them a bit?
Yeah, we've discussed a number of things on radio and now on radio and TV. And some of them include the appointment of Dr. Jamila Ibrahim as the Minister for Youth. It's wonderful to have a young woman become the Minister for Youth. Dr. Jamila Ibrahim is just 36 years old. 36 is not just 36 years of experience.
Yes.
She is a medical doctor, trained in the University of Ilorin, graduated from medicine and surgery in 2010, University of Ilorin. She's been active in the APC. She was part of the APC Presidential Campaign Council. And so her appointment, well, shouldn't be a surprise because she contributed in mobilizing young people. She's a leader of the what they call the Progressive Young Women arm of the APC. So it's wonderful to have a young woman head the Ministry for Youth. I would have been shouting and complaining if they had appointed a 60-year-old man, 70-year-old man, you know, and all that. So it is good that Jamila is there, and Olawande is the Minister of State for Youth. He is 34 years old, has been working in the presidency. So we welcome them to the ministry. We hope that they can get to business immediately. There is a lot to be done in the youth ministry. There is too much unemployment among the youths. They would need to get to work on engaging the energy of youths to focus on national development, you know, and many other things. And we also consider the fact that over the weekend, the Vice Chancellor, University of Jos, Professor Tanko Ishaya, came back from the UK, where he, along with 24 other Vice Chancellors from Nigeria, attended a fantastic international engagement that has to do with innovation, leadership, you know, and related matters that will benefit our high institutions in Nigeria. And some other people from other parts of the world were also there. And the Vice Chancellor also seized that opportunity to be part of the funeral service of one of the fallen heroes of the University of Jos, Professor David Jowett, whose funeral took place in London. And we're expecting to receive his ashes today in Jos because he wants to be buried in Jos. So we'll be doing a Nigerian kind of funeral service for a fallen hero here in the city of Jos. He has lived most of his life here in Nigeria, contributing to the development of this country, even becoming a citizen of Nigeria. So he has labored in the University of Jos for so many years, you know, and mentored so many people, raised the new generation. And even in his advanced age, he kept on working. Sometimes when I see the man at some of our meetings, I feel like going to say, Prof, why don't you just go home and rest? Just go and sleep. You know, but the man has been dogged. His determination has been really enormous. He's an inspiration to the University of Jos community and to Jos Plateau State and people around the world indeed. And so we'll be receiving the ashes of Professor David Jowett today, and a date will be fixed for the formal funeral service here in Nigeria, and a valedictory senate will also be fixed by the university management on his behalf. And over the weekend, the Vice Chancellor announced fantastic news that the school fees for University of Jos has crashed down. All right, so the school fees has been reduced, and so our students for University of Jos don't need to bother themselves to do any protest. And indeed, students of various universities across Nigeria, because there's been a protest in University of Lagos, Ambrose Ali, and other universities, should just engage with the management of those universities. I know the University of Lagos engaged with the students, and their own issue also as a result, and the fees has been reduced. So I think the students should not bother themselves to do any protest. Just go and attend your lectures. Lectures have started since Monday 11th, and lectures will be continuing today. So attend your lectures, attend to your assignments, and don't bother yourselves. The university is more concerned about you than you are concerned even about yourself. When these decisions are taken, the university thinks about the students. What will happen to our students? Should we take this decision or should we not? Because if the university says, okay, we will not collect any charges, then what happens to our students? We close down the university. And then of what benefit would that be? You know, because the federal government is not funding universities. The federal government doesn't fund these federal universities. What they give is very meager. What they give is a very tiny amount that it's very funny. You just laugh when you hear the amounts that are given to universities for overhead costs, you know, and the rest. So the university is thinking about the students. We are lecturers. We have children also who are students in University of Jos and other universities across the country. The non-teaching staff have children also. You know, Sano, Masu, Nat, along with ASU, all of us, we have children in the University of Jos and other universities. So decisions that are taken is in the best interest of our students as well as the university. And that's why we are striking a balance to ensure that the university can continue running and we don't overburden the students unnecessarily. And that is why the Vice Chancellor has approved a reduction in the fees for the University of Jos. And we hope that the students can reciprocate by going ahead to register quickly. We've given additional 2 weeks for registration. So please, students should go ahead and register online and come and complete the process physically. And the university is making arrangements for indigent students. The university management, this will begin to consider what to do about indigent students. Students that are truly indigent. Not everybody, because notice that sometimes when you ask for those who are indigent, everybody will just seize the opportunity and say I'm indigent. But we know students who are truly indigent. Students who cannot afford to pay 20,000 school fees. We know them. We have the data. We have the statistics. And the university will be considering what to do. And we must seize this opportunity to also thank those individuals who, on their own volition, are trying to sponsor some of our students. You know, they are sponsoring students. They want to use their own money. And the Vice Chancellor told us over the weekend, because we had a meeting with the Vice Chancellor yesterday, some members of the university community, that even one of his friends, you know, said, I'm going to sponsor also number of our students in a particular discipline in the university, you know, for this year. So it is fantastic. And I hope that many others will do that, especially our politicians, senators, honorable members of the House of Representatives. And indeed, we call on our governor, His Excellency Barrister Caleb Mutfwang, to invest some money to sponsor students, maybe in the form of a scholarship, you know, for students of Plateau State, for example, who are studying in the University of Jos. Those are things that are done elsewhere and can be done on the Plateau. So it is an appeal to all those in positions of authority and those who are capable and are able and have the heart to please help our indigent students and even help the university. Because University of Jos, only 10%, only 10 to 20% of our students reside in our hostels. About more than 80% of our students are off campus. And this is not good, you know, considering that in some of our other universities, like my alma mater, for example, 80% of the students are on campus. You know, 80% of them stay in the hostel. And it is good for social interaction and cohesion, you know, and all such. So we hope that we can have individuals, companies, NGOs that can come to the help of the University of Jos and invest, build hostels, build faculties, build laboratories, do one thing or the other. You know, like we see them doing some parts of the world, and indeed some parts of Nigeria. We can have that here in the University of Jos. So the University of Jos, this week I think things will be fantastic. We want to thank the students for believing in the university management and for stopping their protests. And the university management is really thinking of more and more things that can be done to help the students. So it's been a wonderful weekend, could be full of activities, but sadly, yesterday we received the news of the kidnap of Pastor Umaru of Akwai Church, Nuku Jos East, along with 2 others were kidnapped at Akwai Church yesterday, and we've been having this series of kidnappings in the Plateau and killings and attacks here and there, and that is really sad. We really want to appeal to law enforcement agencies, security agencies to up their game. I know that they are doing fantastically well, but they can do better. I think we need to be more
they
proactive.
can do better.
We need to use maybe some technology to track down these criminals, kidnappers, and bring them to book. We need to make them pay the supreme price when they take the lives of individuals also. Because we've had cases where people were kidnapped, ransom was paid, but the kidnappers, they killed the victims. Like the case of the father of the former governor, Joshua Darie. Baba Darie was killed in spite of the money that was paid, as ransom. The good thing is that one of the prime suspects in the kidnap of Baba Darie that escaped from the Jos prison a few years ago has been recaptured. He was recaptured, I think, in Bokos, and we hope that he can face the full wrath of the law. So we want to appeal to Operation Save Heaven, appeal to Operation Rainbow, appeal to all the operations, appeal to the military, the police, the NSCDC, appeal to all those who are responsible for maintaining law and order in the plateau and indeed around the country, that please intensify your efforts. Let's be more proactive. Let's stop these criminals before they kidnap more people, before there are further loss of lives. Let's stop them. We can use some GPS technology to get their locations. We can be proactive to get them even while they are planning and scheming these operations, so that the citizens can have a more meaningful life, as it was. So that is a sad one there, and we hope that the kidnappers will be arrested soon, and we hope that the pastor was kidnapped and along with others will be rescued, and they will be reunited with their families.
Oh, thank you very much, Prof, for taking us on this wonderful ride. Now we are having a full understanding, the package of what happened over the weekend. Thank you so much, Prof. At this point, again, I will not let you rest, because we have to now bring in the topic, which is, for this very segment. And this has to do with the challenges of national development, role of leaders and citizens. So where do we begin? We have barely 8 minutes to go, and then probably we'll cross over to the next segment. So, Prof, how do we begin this? So,
well,
challenges.
We have to begin somewhere.
I remember the other day you said, yes. I was wondering, of course, where do we begin? You said, from just...
You begin somewhere. Just begin somewhere, you know. So, and I think it begins with leadership. What is the role of leaders in national development? Because leaders are the ones in the forefront. Leaders are the ones that are supposed to show the way. Leaders are the ones that are supposed to lead, and citizens follow. So, if the leaders don't know where they're going, they will mislead the followers. Leaders are supposed to be visionary. Again, just over the weekend, I watched an interview that was conducted on the governor of Nasarawa State. He was one of those who went to Rwanda, to Kigali, Rwanda, to attend a UN-sponsored summit on leadership. And that summit held at Kigali. And they had experts from all over the world, people who are successful leaders in government, in business, in their various fields. They came and they spoke to not just our governors from Nigeria, but leaders across the world. Yeah. From Nigeria, we had, I think, 28 governors went and attended that leadership summit, and there were 25 first-time governors, and then 3 others who were not first-time governors were chosen to join the first-time governors and attend that summit at Kigali. And they had a 4-hour interaction with His Excellency, the President of Rwanda, Paul Kagame. 4 hours of interaction in which Paul Kagame poured out his heart, to our governors. They asked so many questions. What happened? What about the series of genocides? Just recently I was getting to even know that genocide did not start in Rwanda in 94. It has been there. It started in 1958, 59, and they had such a case in the 60s, 70s before we had the major one in 1994 that took almost 1 million lives of Rwandans. And the president of Rwanda told our own governors that, look, I was about 4 years old when I had to leave my country. when I had to be an IDP in a neighboring country of Congo, you know, where he spent a lot of years and his family, and he was deprived of so many things, you know, and but he never gave up. When the opportunity came for him to rescue his country, fast forward to the time he became president of Rwanda,
yes,
you can see revolutionary decisions that Paul Kagame brought to the country. If you go to Rwanda today, there are no Hutus or Tutsis or whatever ethnic groups. Everybody is a Rwanda. In fact, our governors were very happy to hear that. You know, can we implement that in Nigeria? You know, for national development.
And I ask this question:
everybody is just a Rwanda. You know, I tell you something. Could be I was in Rwanda some years ago, and when I arrived at the airport, my taxi driver took me to my hotel room, and I asked my taxi driver, "Are you a Hutu or you are a Tutsi?" I noticed that his countenance changed. The taxi driver said to me, "Don't ever ask this question again. You'll be arrested. Don't ever ask this question." From that time, I never asked. And I've had cause to go to Rwanda a number of times. Hopefully, I will still go again a number of times. But I never asked that question.
Prof, can we bring this home? For instance, well, this might not be a perfect example, but maybe you just ask him in Nigeria, say, "Are you a Yoruba or are you a Hausa?" And then he said, "Don't you ever ask such question again." Is it wrong to ask if you are Yoruba or Hausa? Or maybe you're Igbo or Yoruba? That was the question you asked him, right?
Yes.
And then he said, Don't you
dare ask that
again
question. In fact, it is criminal. It is an offense in Rwanda to ask that question. In Nigeria here, people are proud of being ethnic bigots. People identify with their tribes more than with Nigeria. People will say, "I am first of all a Hausa, or Igbo, or Yoruba, or Fulani, or Biron, or Wativ, you know, whatever ethnic group. First and foremost." If they remember, they will now think about Nigeria.
If they remember. If only they remember.
So we are not nationalistic. See the problem. Why our national development has been slowed down, retarded, if not stopped completely. So, and we have leaders that have emerged into positions of leadership following this ethnic, bigotic, you know, direction. They became leaders not because they're the best, but because they belong to an ethnic group, or because they belong to a certain religion, or they have a certain godfather, and they became leaders. That is why we are in this quagmire as a nation. Do you know that I visited the Rwandan Genocide Memorial? I shed tears. I wept. In one of the genocide memorials, 250,000 people were buried. 250,000 people were buried. By the time they begin to tell you the story of the Rwandan genocide, you will have no choice but to weep and to cry. But Rwanda learned from their war, their genocide. You know that genocide, if I had time to tell you how it was stopped, you will see that it was just the hand of God. Because 600 members of the Rwandan Patriotic Front, soldiers, rebels, they called them that time, faced more than 24,000 Rwandan soldiers. 600 against 24,000. They had no chance of winning. But God wanted to end that genocide because the United Nations peacekeeping force flew out of Rwanda. They left. France left. US left. Germany left. Belgium, all of them, they left Rwandans. In fact, it was pathetic. Rwandans rushed to the airport, were crying, begging, you know, these foreign nations, please, let's enter your plane, save us from this genocide. Some of them were literally holding the planes to enter, and those planes flew out and left the Rwandans to their fate. And the Rwandans kept dying every day, But you know, the Rwandans learned from that genocide. By the time they asked one of the governors from Nigeria, Soludo, talk about your experience of the civil war, Biafran war, and compare it with what happened in Rwanda, you know, he could not say much. Because Nigeria, we've not been able to learn from the civil war. Whereas the Rwandan genocide ended in national integration, ended in forgiveness, in love and unity of Rwandans, our own in Nigeria ended in a lot of division. Up to today, we've not healed from the pains, the devastation of the Biafran war. Up to today, people are still crying, they're still bitter because of what happened in the Biafran war, how they were deprived, how they were marginalized, how they were exploited. People lost humongous, fortunes after the war, and the government did not do anything to compensate them for their losses. In addition to about 2 to 3 million lives that were lost, mostly Biafrans. We've not done any reconciliation. We've not even said sorry to those people who lost their loved ones. But that was what Rwanda did. Rwanda, Paul Kagame, even though he wasn't responsible, said sorry. I forgive me. Rwandans forgave themselves. We had Rwandans who every member of their family was killed, and some of them met with the killers of members of their own families. Somebody who killed your wife, their children, and they forgave them, and today they are one nation, united. In Nigeria, we've not learned anything. The federal government has not said sorry to Biafra. Sorry for the atrocities, for the raping of women, for the destruction of villages, of communities, for the hunger and starvation of the Igbo race, the displacement. Children were starved and women to death. We used hunger as a weapon of war against Biafra, and that is criminal, that is evil, that is wicked, that is satanic, that is sinful. Up to today, Nigeria has not repented. See why we still have some of these problems. Nigeria has not said sorry that we used hunger as a weapon of war against you. We have not repented from that. So we need leaders who are visionary. If we have leaders who are visionary, we will be heading in the right direction as a country, because they will be able to lead us aright. And then we need citizens who know their role, the role they're supposed to play. No citizens who are yes men, who are just saying yes. Give them a few, you are the righteous man, you are the saint, and everything, and they don't know their rights.
Prof, we'll go on a short break. When we come back, this discussion will continue. I'm beginning to love it, like have it all day. Thank you very much, our listener, and of course our viewer. Just stay tuned. We'll come back after this short time out. Thank you.
Mr. Politician, it's good to see you again. It's been so long since you've been here. You had me thinking you were dead. How's your taxpayer mansion?
I was the head boy in my primary school, senior prefect and best graduating student in my secondary school, but drug abuse almost ruined my life.
I was on an average of 2 grams of cocaine per day.
I was taking 8 ampoules of pentazosine daily.
European shisha, cocaine.
I became a user, a dealer, and a gangster.
I saw other users drowning. I knew I didn't want to be like them, but I was already trapped.
My family disowned me.
My employment was terminated.
I sold my car, sold my house. I'll go out well-dressed and return shoeless, shirtless in exchange for drugs.
I was seeing things that were not real, and I once stabbed myself because I felt something crawling under my skin.
I contacted NDLEA and started therapy.
I spent 3 months in therapy.
I spent 8 months.
It's easy to relapse, but your mind has to be stronger than the cravings.
Drugs does not love you. You are not the one using drugs. Drugs are the one using you. Say no to drug abuse.
Are you bored and need some company? Get a TV experience like no other on Unity TV. We are turning up the hits with captivating TV shows, electrifying political programs, music, movies, and lots more that will leave you craving. I'm sure you want to know more. Tune into Unity TV today and let the excitement take over.
Unity TV.
attention. It starts from the foundation. Everybody needs somebody. Some love. You turn a blind eye and care nothing less. Say it's just business, all about the money. You are so unbothered as long as they pay. Say it's just business, all about the money. You know they're on a fast lane, but you've got business to run. So you look away the other way.
It concerns you. It a kill love, it a kill dreams. It a land people for jail. War against drug abuse.
Mr. Politician, it's good to see you again. It's been so long since you've been here.
Thank you so much for staying tuned to Unity 93.3 FM and Unity TV. Well, in case you're just tuning on, it has been a lovely discussion in the studio this morning. We're reaching you live from ZINARIYA Hills here in Jos City, Plateau State, Nigeria. In the studio this morning, it has been Professor Provena H. Bamiyi, and we've been together from the very first segment of Unity Train. And again, we've been discussing on the topic, the challenges of national development, the role of leaders and citizens. And so I'll just let him continue on that, because it's actually that moment with which we should allow our listener and the viewer to call and then throw in their comments and questions and what have you. But I would just want to beg that you give me some more 5 minutes of your time so that Professor will just cap up on what he has begun to say on the topic of discussion this morning. So, Professor, let's continue. Yeah. You were talking about ours in Nigeria ended in division, but in Rwanda it ended in forgiveness and unity. So do you see this unity forgiveness thing coming? Is it possible? And what damage do you think that would have done to us as a nation?
Yes.
Is it still there, the pains?
The pains are still there. Okay. I mean, meet the average Igbo man who is a victim of the Biafran War, the Civil War. He's still bitter up to today. Why? Because we've not provided room for reconciliation, forgiveness, make reparations, make amends for the wrongs. Meet the average northerner who also suffered. Maybe he had relations that went to fight in the Civil War, and they had to die fighting against the Biafran army. He's also bitter.
Yes.
We still have up to today people refer to Igbos as Nyamiri. Nyamiri is an insultive term. It's not a good terminology. And of course, the Igbo man also have his own word for the Hausa man. Aboki, the Yoruba man will have his own, and also. So, it shows that we are not yet a nation. We are still a country, Nigeria, but we've not become a nation. That integration, cohesion that you see in a nation, that love, forgiveness, and unity is not yet there. It is just in theory. I mean that, can I travel as from a northerner from the north, go to Igbo land and feel at home? I'll be regarded as a non-indigent. The same thing. The Igbo man comes here, he's not an indigent, he doesn't belong here, he's treated, like a stranger, and those things. We've not had that cohesion and integration. In the Rwandan experience is that every Rwandan is a Rwandan, no ethnic group. You can stay anywhere. I can talk a lot about Rwanda because I've been there several times, I even have a Rwandan daughter, not biological, but somebody that I'm helping, bringing up sort of. And you go to that country, As long as you are a Rwandan, you can stay anywhere. You don't need to be indigenous or whatever. There is nothing like indigenous. You can walk anywhere, build your house anywhere, become the president, become anything. In fact, Rwanda has almost 50% of members of their parliament are women from different parts of the country. And they are treated equally. Some of the youngest members of governments in the world are Rwandans. Paul Kagame has appointed 25-year-old into his 24-year-old into his cabinet.
Yes.
So will that happen in Nigeria? Well, thank God that Jamila Ibrahim is 36 and Lawande is 34. So you see that forgiveness has not yet taken place. And I think that we're running away from reality, the big elephant in the room. What will it take one president of Nigeria to take the bull by the horns and say, I want to reconcile the whole of Nigeria, and I want to say sorry to the Biafrans for what they suffered. Please, Biafrans, forgive us. Please forgive us. Go to the east and beg for forgiveness and say, let's reconcile. Let there be reparations. Let the federal government pay for the destruction, for the damage, pay something for the loss of life, because some had to forfeit their fortunes that they left in other parts of Nigeria when they joined Biafra. At the time the war ended, no victor, no vanquish, nothing was given to them. They lost everything. You know? And we are still deceiving ourselves that we are one nation when we have not forgiven, we've not reconciled. While there is still animosity, there is still bitterness in our hearts towards one another, the ethnic nationalities in Nigeria. We need to sit at the table of brotherhood as a nation and say, look, this is not helping us. Can we forgive each other? Can we become one nation? Can we please begin to walk in unity? Can we please forget the past and move forward? Can we say, all right, we are one nation, Nigeria. An Igbo man can become anything he wants to be in Nigeria. A Yoruba man can stay anywhere in Nigeria. He doesn't have to. Can we do away with all this? I know this sounds revolutionary, but can we do away with all this indigenous of a thing? Can we do away with it? Can we do away with, why do you have to fill on your form that you are from so place, so village? This is your religion. How does it affect you as a person? Why is it a qualification to get a job? Can't we base things on merit? See the problem in Nigeria, things are not on merit. You're now going to employ the person because he's from my village, he is from my religion, he comes from my state. You know, before he gets a job at the Federal Civil Service in Abuja, you look at it, we have Federal Character Commission and all such things. They're just jamboree for sure. People are still not following it. There is no equal representation. Can we say enough of all this quota system and all that? Let things be based on merit. If you deserve it, you merit it, be given. You don't merit it, don't be given. I know it sounds revolutionary in Nigeria, you know, but that is the right thing to do. Every Nigerian should be happy to live anywhere in Nigeria, from Sokoto to Port Harcourt, from Maiduguri to Lagos, and build there and raise a family there and become anything, become local government chairman, commissioner, even governor. Go to the US and see what happens there. If it was in Nigeria, would Barack Obama have become the president of the US? Coming from Kenya, will he have become the president of the US? But today in Nigeria, you have to come from a certain place to get a certain position, and in a particular way you need to have a godfather, you have to belong to a religion, come from a particular region, and all those things are not based on merit. That nationalism, we don't have it. There is hardly any Nigerian, maybe except me, you know, that is proud to say he's a Nigerian. I was in an international gathering and people were introducing themselves. When I introduced myself, I say, I am from the great nation of Nigeria. And everybody turned and looked at me. After that session, some Nigerians came to me, they said, don't ever say that again. Why would you say that? Nigeria is not great. As far as they're concerned, Nigeria is not great. Of course, I know what they mean. Nigeria has so many problems, has so many challenges. But if we have the right leaders, we can surmount the unsurmountable. We can surmount the mountains. We can cross the mountains. We can become a great nation in the Committee of Nations. And we have the right citizens who know their rights.
All right. Let's
Because
talk about
many of our citizens don't know their right. They don't know that it is their right to demand that certain things should be done.
To demand.
By the government, to demand.
Yes.
To even go to court. They trample on your right and you do nothing about it. You just sit down and you're looking at them. Because you don't know your rights. You know, as a citizen. We have so many citizens that are sycophants. They're yes men, you know. A politician steals money and just gives you peanuts, and you're saying, honorable, you know, rankaidade, you know, and all those things that we say and encourage these politicians in their evil. We see corrupt politicians, clearly corrupt, but we're celebrating them. We're giving them chieftaincy titles, you know, and all those things. And we don't even know our rights as citizens. We don't even know that we can go to court over certain issues. We don't even know that certain things should not be done to us. We allow the government to trample on us, trample on our rights. We allow even law enforcement agents, they will trample on us, trample on our rights, because we don't know what is our rights. How many of us have read the Constitution of Nigeria? How many of us have read the laws governing our states? How many of us know what a citizen is entitled to? We don't know, you know, because we don't care. You know, the Nigerian is the one that what he's supposed to do, he wants God to do it for him.
Yes.
The battle you're supposed to fight, you say God should come and fight it. And the one that you are not supposed to fight, you should leave for God to fight, is the one you go and be fight. That's the irony of being a Nigerian. You see, Nigerians, this is your right as a Nigerian. But you're not fighting for that right. Instead, you want to pray to God. God is saying, this is your right, demand your right, get your right. You want to pray to God. And the one God is supposed to do, you'll be the one going to fight. You know? So I think that it's high time that citizens, we should know what our rights are as citizens of this country. And we should demand for those rights as citizens. And we should be citizens that are nationalistic, loyal, patriotic. Indeed, patriotic. Like small things that we talk about. Do you go late to your office? You're not a patriotic Nigerian. Do you give bribe? You're not a patriotic Nigerian. Do you collect bribe? You're not a patriotic Nigerian. You know, do you cheat people? You're not a patriotic Nigerian. You know, do you do those contract, whatever they call it, they inflate contracts, you know, contractual? You're not a patriotic Nigerian. So it's not only the politicians that are corrupt. We have teachers who are compromising, they are corrupt. Lecturers who compromise, they are corrupt. Students who cheat in exams, they are corrupt also. And they're not playing their roles as citizens.
I think
that's why the nation is not advancing and moving forward and becoming what it is supposed to be.
Prof, I wish I could just let you continue on this, but let's just pick some few calls from our listeners and then viewers, of course. At this point, if you want to be a part of it, just call us on 070-3235-3315. Tell us your name, where you're calling us from, and then you just go quickly and tell us. Let's have your own opinion to the conversation this morning. You can also send in SMS quickly on 0808478999. Let's begin to receive our calls. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Oh, thank you very much. Who is on the line?
I know.
Who is with us this morning? Thank you. Your name and where you're calling from, please.
I'm just calling from Utah.
Okay, that's good. You have a minute, please.
Okay. Actually, we appreciate the guests in the house, and the issue of security is very poor.
Okay.
You know that last 2 weeks, the pastor was kidnapped and he was struggling with those people, and they shot his 2 legs and shot one of his son.
Okay.
Pastor Akwai right now is in New Jude, and they picked somebody and went with him, and the ransom was paid.
Okay.
Before the other person was released, but these 2 people, the man and the pastor and his son, they are still in New Jude. Issue of security is very poor in this country. This is what our people that be traveling other countries, they should learn what they are going there. What are they going there? They should learn how the security in other countries is tight. And also the issue of the issue of kidnapper, all this, they are stopping farmers to farm. What is happening?
Thank you.
If they are going outside other countries, they should come back and do something in our country so that there will be peace and unity.
Thank you very much for calling. Thank you very much for calling. And this one is coming. SMS is saying good morning, could be, and Professor Bameyi, kudos to the professor for the wonderful educative and objective analysis. It's so unfortunate that we in Nigeria, we have refused to learn our lessons. We've lost lives and properties, but we never learned to tolerate one another and be united. How I wish we can learn from the Rwandans and do the needful. Our leaders should not just be traveling to such places without bringing in profitable policies they see there. We are all leaders and citizens have to do our part to bring national development. God bless Unity FM. God bless Nigeria. Charity Izang. I'm sorry, Christy Izang.
Our listeners could be, and viewers. You see,
how they
wonder.
Yes.
And they just came back. Was there any kidnapping?
Thank you. And the guest in the studio, Mr. Carlo, calling you from Angoro.
Thank you very much for calling. You have a minute.
Thank you. Grace your elbow, Prof. You've made my day today.
Thank you.
The type of fear are not many in Nigeria.
Oh my.
You see, Okubi, to be the nation, there are manuals to be the nation. You see what this Prof is saying? If we don't kill into it, I am telling you, we are just wasting our time. Nobody will come to salvage it except we come to reorganize ourselves and know what building a nation is all about. If not so, we are just deceiving ourselves. Thank you, my brother.
Thank you. Thank you. Still talking, emphasizing on the need to let's have a time for forgiveness. Yes, let's be deliberate. Hello, good morning.
Good morning. Comrade Masu Patrick Choreographer is my name from Owu School here in Angus.
You're welcome.
Good morning, our guests. I want to say, speaking our guests, I've said it all. And Abuki, honestly speaking, it is need for the federal government to give what you call reparation to the Southerners, where the civil war took place, the Eastern Nigeria. My brother, you have said it all. But the question now is, can the federal government make use of what you have said now? Because up to today, where the civil war took place, my brother, all this issue of indigenous knowledge is still going on there. My brother have said it all. I wish these things should be documented and sent to the federal government, sent to the military, let them study it and make use of it. Because if they have to implement what my brother have said now, I bet you everything will be going very well. Thank you very much. Well, we have to live in peace because crisis does not pay. Indigenous or no indigenous does not pay. Give the rightful people who knows the job to do the job. Good morning, Mazu Krapo from Anglo-Josi. Good morning, my brother. Thank you. God bless you.
Thank you very much. Still emphasizing on the need, to otherwise it will just be like
these
Britain.
Governors went to Rwanda. Paul Kagame opened his heart to them. But I hope that they have learned something that they can come back and implement. Do you know in Kigali, you move at 1 a.m., 2 a.m., 3 a.m., no kidnapper, no security risk, no problem. Your life is secured. Can they bring that back to Nigeria? Can they bring that reconciliation and forgiveness, that reparation? Can they bring it to Nigeria?
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Kubi. Good morning, the guest in the house. But my name now, who they do, is calling from Terminus.
Mr. Kingsley.
The guests are, yes, the guests are speaking well. In fact, I'm so excited. In fact, there are showers of blessing in heaven this morning, and your guests have already showered me with another blessing. It's double blessing I have today. In fact, my prayer to the guests is, may he live long to see his great-great-grandchildren in Jesus' name.
Amen.
There is a question I want to ask the guests. What of, let's say, I'm not an Plateau indigenous, but I'm married here and my children are the indigenous. Will they get the schools, that is, their school fees in university will be discounted? Will they take them as indigenous? That's one question I want to ask. Then another one.
Okay.
Security in Plateau here, more the social jobs here. No security. The government should try and help us.
Okay.
What we are looking from government is just let there be a good security, let there be a good life, let there be a good road, let there be a good hospital, let there be a good education. Well, that is what we want from them. Mr. President cannot ask me, he said, okay, come and read the country now, I will step down for you. I cannot do that. But what we need from them, let them do our needful so that we can get a peaceful peace in this country. God bless you.
Thank you very much. Oh, mine. Prof, that's the much we can take from our callers. You know, oh my, I apologize. That's the much we can take. We have just 2 minutes to be out of here.
You
so,
know,
Prof,
could be our listeners have spoken well. I know many more of them are calling and they want to express themselves because we've touched some touchy areas.
These are sensitive issues
that we refuse to talk about, and they're staring us in the face. They're big elephants. You refuse to talk about them, it's not going to solve the problem. You're keeping quiet, it's not going to solve the problem. You have to talk about the problem, work on it, do something about it, otherwise it will keep staring you in the face. We've been running away from doing the wrong thing, doing the right thing for many years. Has it helped us? It has not helped us. And that's why I was very excited when I learned that our governors went to Kigali, Rwanda. Because I know Paul Kagame will tell them the truth. He's not going to hide anything from them. Paul Kagame will tell them the raw truth. He's not a man that is, too diplomatic, bit about the bush. He's a man that is straight to the point. And I'm happy that they have come. They came back. I think most of them are excited about their experience, but the challenge is, will they do what they learned from Paul Kagame, from other experts around the world? Are they going to implement, those things they learned? So that is the problem. So I hope that as a nation we can really wake up and strategize what to do for national development. Illiteracy level is high in Nigeria.
Yes.
We have unemployment. These are indices for national development. It's high. Our gross domestic product, and also it is nothing to write home about. So it is high time the leaders wake up and be leaders truly. It is also high time that we, the followers, the citizens, wake up and hold our leaders responsible for good leadership. When we do this, we will see Nigeria advancing and moving forward and becoming greater and greater. God bless Nigeria.
Thank you very much. God bless Nigeria, Prof, for being in the studio this morning. Our listener and our viewer, we apologize. We have not been able to read all of your comments, none even one from the Facebook page. But let's hope to be here tomorrow, and then it's going to be another interesting day. For me, Beatrice Adamuize, and everyone who made it possible, say thank you. Stay tuned.
Mr. Politician, it's good to see you again. It's been so long since you've been here. You had me thinking you were dead. How's your taxpayer mansion? How was your...
Are you bored and need some company? Get a TV experience like no other on Unity TV. We are turning up the hits with captivating TV shows, electrifying political programs, music, movies, and lots more that will leave you craving. I'm sure you want to know more. Tune into Unity TV today and let the excitement take over.
I was the head boy in my primary school, senior prefect and best graduating student in my secondary school, but drug abuse almost ruined my life.
I was on an average of 2 grams of cocaine per day.
I was taking